recommended business tools and some discussion. Now, if you've been taking classes with me, you've heard me talk about some of these before, but some may be new to you, and we can talk about specifically how that could be used for you. I love tools, but I don't like tools that get in my way. So I think about like practical tools, like in a toolbox. You ever thought about what's the one tool you use the most? The one tool I use the most is a needle nose pliers. For some reason, that's a tool I can use to do a lot of things. It doesn't do everything, but it does a lot of things, and that's a tool I like. There's other specialty tools. Every now and then, you're doing a project and you're like, gosh, I don't have that tool. I was trying to do something so it was a plumbing type project I was working on, and I didn't have a big enough wrench for, it was plastic PVC type tubing. And I'm like, I'm not going to go get a big metal wrench that big, so I'll never use it again. So I found there's these rubber expandable wraparound kind of wrenches that you can use to tighten and loosen things. And so I went and got I think I ordered those on Amazon and found a good tool that I can use multiple ways. So same thing with our business and how we use tools here. I'm constantly trying new tools, but if they don't serve me well, I get rid of them pretty quick because I don't want my time to be wasted. And I believe our tools should work for us. We shouldn't have to work for it. If they're too hard to use, they're not worth it. Obviously, there's lots of tools you can use, but if you use the wrong tool to do the project, it gets really hard, really costly, really time consuming. Like, it would take a lot of work to get that bolt out of that piece of wood with that wrench. That's just probably not gonna, you could probably knock it in, but you're probably not gonna get it out very easily. So having the right tool for the right job, you got to know what tools fit where. Sometimes we get lazy and we try to use the wrong tool to do the job, and we get frustrated. All right, so the goal, the right tool used in the right way for the right outcome. Again, if you don't know how to use the tool even, then that's no good either. You could have the best tools in the world, but if you don't know how to use them, they're no good to you. So they can, right tool, use the right way to get the right outcome. Obviously, basic business tools, our computers. I used PCs for a lot of years, and then I switched over to Macs, the Apple products. That's what I prefer. I have both, but I use my Macs the most. A smartphone that works, that's really good. Sometimes it's your service that's the problem, right? You can have a good phone, but on the wrong service. And the service is really dependent on where you live and where you work, because depending on the coverage that they have there. If you travel a lot, you need different service coverage than you do in your area. Even where we live, there's parts of town that are better serviced by some towers than others. And so smartphones important there. That shouldn't get in your way. Our emails, I have lots and lots of emails. I use them for different purposes. You can create free emails. Word processor, spreadsheet, slides, calendars. These are all important things to do. I'm a big Google guy, so I use Google for those. Graphic editor, but we'll get into some of those. How to get images. Your CRM, your contact or customer relationship manager. How do you keep up with your contacts, whether your personal contacts or business contacts? How do you kind of keep up with that? Your accounting software, and your project management. How do you take payments? How do you do payroll if you have to pay somebody else? And then your social media. There's just a lot, right? That's a whole lot of stuff to know something about to be able to do. Is there anything else that you think we left off the list that you're thinking about? Any of you?
Kevin, perhaps, I don't know, what a virtual assistant.
A virtual assistant could be, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so some help as well. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Good. All right. Go.
What was CRM?
CRM, we'll go back. It's either contact relationship management or customer relationship management. It's your contact database, your employee, your customer database.
Okay.
So it's the information you have on people so you can follow up with them. You may want to know their birthday or what they bought or what their interests are or certain things about them that allows you to market them. You build that out by collecting email lists and things like that, customer list.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You got to figure out what's the best use for you, your desktop versus a laptop. I prefer the laptop myself because they're so powerful now. You can hook up, but what I do is I get the laptop and then I can hook it up to a really large screen. I've got a wireless keyboard. I've got hubs and that I plug into it. So I plug a couple cords into my computer, and it's like I'm on a desktop then. And then I can unplug that cord and go somewhere else, and I still have my computer. So I've got it set up that way. Mac versus PC, we talked about that. Chromebooks work good if most of what you're doing is web-based. In other words, you're going to do it through a browser. And then you think about your phones, your iPhones, your Androids. Just personal preference on that, of course. Any questions on computers? I think it's good to have one computer, not a bunch of them. I mean, I have a bunch of them, but I work on one predominantly. If you use multiple computers, then I think it helps if you store a lot of what you're doing in the cloud or the internet, so you can get to it from those other machines. So you're never stuck like, oh gosh, I don't have it on this computer. You don't want to be in that situation. You want to be able to
Yeah,
access all
but
your information.
can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. So you said even though, I mean, if you have a Chromebook, you could work on the web, but not your browser. What does that mean?
No, you can work on the web and or through the browser. Yeah, it's one and the same.
Okay. I just ordered, I'm a Mac person too, but I couldn't find no desktop that I liked. I'll just keep my old desktop. But I ordered a Chromebook over the weekend. It hasn't got here yet. And I basically ordered it so I could get all those Google programs and just use them seamlessly. But I was wanting to make sure that you could do Zoom on there.
Mm-hmm.
Can you?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. And it was only, gosh, it was so cheap, and you just wouldn't believe how cheap they are.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I'm actually working on a new class, how to take your old computers and make them usable again. I've gotten into Linux a little bit, which is another operating system, right? You've got Macs, PCs, and Linux. And you can I've got some old desktops that I've had or my kids have had, and they've just kind of gotten too slow, and the Windows software becomes so demanding on it, you can't really run them anymore. So you can install Linux real easily, and because most of what we do is web-based, the machine seems like it's really fast again, and that's what makes a Chromebook so nice, is that it's really quick and easy, and it's always on and simple to use that way. It's good.
Would that work for a Windows 7 machine or no?
Yeah, you could take it's an old PC you have, and yeah, you would what you do, and that's what my class is going to talk about, is how you take that machine and you reformat it to work as a Linux machine, and the Linux software is a lot simpler and faster and gets you access to just about everything you need anyway.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because all of us have these old computers sitting around somewhere not being used probably. We don't know what to do with them.
I got an old G4 that I love it. I love it. I love it. It still works good, but I'm wondering if it could even. I never did put email on it because I put all my photography notes work in it, and I just didn't want to jeopardize it with getting any viruses. But now I'm wondering if I could update it and put email and all that stuff that they have now, if I need to upgrade it to do that. It's a Mac G4. You have to upgrade it to put email and all that, the latest email stuff on it?
If all your email is web-based, you wouldn't have to upgrade your machine, because it doesn't take that much to run your browser, right? So if you kept it in the cloud, if you kept it like in Gmail, then you'd be okay.
Okay. I don't understand all them terms, browser and all that. I guess I need a dictionary, an old-fashioned dictionary.
The old terms. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Email, obviously, right? You can get free emails through Gmail, Yahoo, Microsoft. But you can make a custom email also through a domain name. If you buy your own domain name, the domain name, couple ways you can do it. You can buy the domain name for roughly $10, $15 a year. You can have the domain name, and then you can make emails off of that. You can also, if you Google Workspace if you have a domain name, you can use the Google platform for your email, but it can be used as your private email address, your custom domain. So instead of just doing tom@gmail.com, it could be tom at tomscompany.com, and it could still be Gmail, but it's running through the Google platform, and they offer that at about $6 a user. So I have that with a couple of my businesses that I do, and you can add and drop users all you want. Okay. Just make sure email look a little more professional. Lily.
How do you spell Linux? I can't find it. L-E or L-I?
Linux.
Thank you. X, sorry.
Lily?
Yeah, Kevin, this goes back to actually to just something you previously talked about. Would you consider giving a class on, how can I say, just using web-based applications versus using your hard drive to store things? Do you know the distinction?
Yeah, the difference between storing things on the cloud versus storing things on physical hard drive. Yeah.
Right, like which applications you use for what and how.
Mm-hmm.
And just, that might be clarifying to myself and many of them.
Sure. That's a good idea. Good. And all of a sudden my sound changed again. It's kind of funny. I can still hear you, but I don't have an echo now. It's really not sure what was going on there. I'm going to blame Zoom. Okay, let's blame Zoom for that. All right, let's keep going. That's email. Word processor, spreadsheet, slides, calendar. Obviously, you can use Microsoft products, but you usually have to pay for those. This Google Workspace, you get free ones if you don't. If you have just a general at gmail.com, they give you 30 gigabytes of space, and you get all of their apps. I mean, you get Gmail, Calendar, Drive. You get slides, sheets, forms, sites, docs, all of that built in there. And if you only have to pay for the $6 per month if you have it set up under your custom domain name, if it was Kevin at GetSetUp.io, if I wanted to register that, then I'd be paying $6 a month for that. But at the Kevin Miller at gmail.com, there's no charge for that. Now, to me, the beauty of this is that it's always saved. There's no save button in any of these programs. Everything is always saved. You never lose anything. Remember the days you do all the work, you forget to hit save, and then it was gone. You're like, oh my gosh, that was so painful. And this way it's saved in the cloud, so even if something happens to my hardware, my computer, my desktop, laptop, phone, even if those are lost, broken, or stolen, then this information is still safe in the cloud, so I can go get another device, log back in, and it's still there. And I can get to it from anywhere. I don't have to be on any specific device. I can log into it and get it from anywhere. So all of that makes it really good. It's easy to collaborate as well. In other words, you can share it with others. It's all private to you, but you can decide what you want to share. Okay. Yeah, we've got some classes more on our TA put the class in there on Understanding the Cloud by Bob Cohen. He talks about that. Yeah. Okay. Any questions on this? And this goes to what Lily was asking about. These are what are called web-based applications, meaning they're using them through your browser, through your computer browser, your internet. And they're there. They're lighter weight, meaning they're not requiring as much hardware demand on your computer to run them. The older versions of programs that you had to install on your computer required increasing levels of hardware support or strength. It's kind of a game that the hardware manufacturers and software companies got into, where they would just keep increasing the demands, and it would require us to keep upgrading. We never have enough. Same thing you see with our cell phones now, right? It's like, wait, this phone is fantastic right now, but in 3 years it gets really slow and you can't use it, and the only option really is to get a new phone. So the web-based programs are much less demanding because they're just going through the internet. They're very lightweight. The heavy lifting of the program is done on the internet. It's not done on your computer. You're just viewing it from your computer, so it's faster and not as demanding for your machine. So a lot more programs that are web-based, and sometimes they might have an app you can install on your computer and still get the information, but it's still a web-based program. Okay. All right, graphic editor. This used to be a real challenge because you have to pay somebody to be your graphic editor. or you had to buy the Adobe suite like Photoshop and InDesign or Illustrator or something like that, or what was the other ones? Corel Draw. What's another one somebody's asking about? Oh, Adele was talking about the other day. Quirk Express. Quirk. That's right. We were talking about that. These are very expensive programs to use, and you had to, if you didn't use them every day, it was a pretty steep learning curve. And then out comes a program like Canva, which is free. They have a paid version as well, but a free version, which does a whole lot of things. It's web-based. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your computer and make your own images. So this is a great, great tool to have that you can use to create logos, text, images, flyers, signs, websites, presentations. They just keep adding to what it can do. It's a great tool. Canva.com. All right. Free images. So you don't want to go steal people's images or their music or anything like that, but there are sites that have free images that you can get a lot of great stock photos from. Pexels, Unsplash, Pixabay, Morgfile, KaboomPix. These are all good sources of all kinds. Some of these also have videos you can use as well. But they're good free stuff that you can get your hands on. I'll send you all these links after class. Okay. What would you use this for? Maybe a flyer or your website or some background or something you needed an image for. This is what these are good for. All right, here's CRM, Customer Relationship Management. There are so many of these, it gets ridiculous how many of these there are out there, all kinds of options. And this is one of those tools that can be very simple or very complex, and they tend to get overly complicated. These more involved type programs I get frustrated with because somebody puts together kind of what they think the best way to manage that process is of the information, and either it resonates with you or it doesn't, and you quickly say, this is just bulky. I was in sales for a lot of years, and a lot of sales managers love CRMs. They want you to kind of keep track of who you're contacting, who you're talking to, who your prospects are, who you're selling to, all those kind of things. And a lot of these CRMs, they become, salespeople hate them because the sales manager wants you to spend all this time doing data entry because the quality of these CRMs is only as good as what you put into it. And salespeople don't like to do data entry. They like to sell. And so when sales managers tell their salespeople they have to put all this information in here about every call or every touch they have with the people, the salespeople hate it. Just like, do you want me to do data entry or do you want me to sell? So many companies, the CRM kind of gets put aside after a while and people just go back out and selling. But there is value in knowing who your people are, right? So whether you need a CRM to grow your business because they got too many customers, and how do you manage your prospects and how do you keep reaching out to them, to having a really big company that's having to keep up with a lot. So here's a few that I mentioned. Zoho CRM, this is a free one. If your business is growing, Zoho has a suite of products that go along with it. HubSpot's really good for integrating with other marketing tools. A lot of companies use HubSpot. They kind of track a little bit when people hit your social media, and you can link it to your email list and some sales funnels, things like that you want to do for HubSpot. Insightly is good for project management. If you walk customers through a process and you need to kind of see where they are in that process, Insightly is good for that. Nimble is very simple. I've used Nimble for a lot of years, and it works a little bit by itself. There's a couple of these out there like it. So whenever I get an email, it will throw a new email. It'll put that person into my CRM for me. And it'll automatically go out and try to find some of their social media and grab some of the information as well and put it in to Nimble. So that's pretty good for having that. And then what you can do is if you want to, tag or flag people for different projects you're working on or different things that you need them for, you can then pull up those lists really quick and you can communicate with them through email or send them something or put notes on their records or things like that. A very, very simple approach would just be use something like MailChimp, where you're going to kind of keep all your email contacts in one place and then send out emails or campaigns to them. That would be like the most simple form of a CRM. And you can put other data in there. You can put other fields that you want if you want to keep up with it. But that would be MailChimp. And then, the idea is you feed this CRM data with any contact points you have with customers or prospects. So whether they're filling out a form online or they're calling you, or you got their business card and you need to manually enter it, or they're signing up for something and they're registering, that information goes automatically into your CRM and then you have it. Okay. So I've got some of my CRM stuff in MailChimp for different things I do. I've got a full-on CRM that I did some research on and selected for a nonprofit for the foster care agency I do some work with. But every organization is different. Your needs are different. So you have to kind of think what's best for you. And then, how does this fit in the budget? How much time are you going to spend managing it? Because again, if you don't use it, it's not going to be any good. It's just a big empty database that's sitting there, not really doing much for you.
I like MailChimp because I used to send out a newsletter and I could see who opened it, who clicked on it.
Right. Yeah, so even in the simple version of MailChimp, you see the value of kind of knowing what your customers or prospects or clients are doing with what you're sending out. You can do that. Is there anything else anybody's used that they like or didn't like?
Kevin, this is Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
I like MailerLite.
MailerLite.
It is also free.
It's like a MailChimp, right?
Yeah, it's free up to a lot of contacts. Remember, like 1,000. It's free for a lot.
Yeah.
And it has the automation built in. And I don't know if MailChimp does at a free price point. It was a little harder for me to get an account with them because I had to have a website and several different things. But
I see. Okay. Good. Yeah, there's a lot of MailChimp-like or MailLite sites out there that could do that. There's a lot you can start with free and then grow into it. Anybody else use anything? No. Ready for your wife's business. What do you think you'll use for that? Does she need something like this?
Oh, we already plan on using MailChimp.
MailChimp. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good. That'll be good. Good. All right. Ruby, what do you put all your people in that you keep up with? How do you keep track of your folks? Hold on, you're on mute. Ruby, you're on mute. Ruby.
I have a chat tablet and an ink pen, and I've been doing it the old-fashioned way. I keep telling myself I'm going to go to MailChimp, but I just haven't wanted to do all that transferring yet, but I need to.
All right. You got the Ruby CRM going. That's what you got.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So that's CRM. It's got to work for you. I mean, this is the one, again, that can get really bogged down in it, but it's nice to be able to pull up people when you need to look for them. Like, who was that person? Well, another thing I do inside Notion, you guys know I use Notion for all kinds of things. I'll create like mini CRMs for each project I'm working on. And it's basically like a little spreadsheet inside of Notion that, in fact, I was working on one today where I create whatever fields I want on them, right? Their name, their phone number, their email, what company they work for, any notes, who referred me to them. And I have them all in one screen so I can see them on that one project. And anytime I have notes or something with a conversation with them, I go into their account and I record the notes from that conversation in there. If I ever get an email, and I can paste that information back in there. So it's all in one place. Again, the whole idea is to have it in one place so it's not spread out all over the place. So you don't have emails and text messages and documents all spread over and you don't know where they are. And, months go by, a year goes by, and like, I know they're somewhere, I just don't know where they are because you didn't really have them organized very well. If you can use this to kind of keep them organized by the person or the project, then that helps you stay a little bit more organized. Okay, accounting wise, there's QuickBooks is real popular. Wave, I've talked about Wave. These are really good for tracking your expenses for the business. You really want to keep your bookkeeping separate from your personal stuff. So this helps you with accounting and taxes. QuickBooks is not free. Wave is free. They offer some for-fee services as well, but they have a lot for free. I had mentioned before, if you heard me talk before, one thing I loved about Wave is I could sync it with my bank account and it would automatically pull my transactions in, and then I would just have to categorize them and they would go in the right category. Well, my bank decided that they no longer want to give third-party companies access to my account, so I can no longer, going back to just January of this year, I guess they decided that. So depends on your bank if it'll actually do that. Now, the way I can get around it is I can download, my statements from my bank, and I can upload them into here, and they'll be there. That's fine. I can get around it that way. So it's just a security measure that they put in, which is probably smart, but it's one more step for me. But I could do a bunch of months at one time and be okay. But that's 2 accounting programs there for that. Project management. Trello uses the Kanban board style of project management. They have a great free version there. It's real nice. You kind of create as many columns as you want, and you can put things in those columns and move them around and add notes and images and all types of things. And then Monday is really good if you work on a team. You've probably seen the Monday ads on TV. They're good for team project management. If you work by yourself, Trello is probably enough. Monday's probably overkill if you're just working by yourself, but it's good if you have a team. So you can both of these you can assign things to other people too as well, and keep moving them around. Again, I use Notion for my project management because it does a lot of things. I like having everything kind of in one place, and that's how I've set mine up. Payments, how are you going to take money, right? You got to be able to do this. I've used PayPal. I'm acknowledging that people have a bad rap on PayPal, and here's why. Because PayPal gets exploited so much as by spammers and by phishers. I think just this week I got a text message saying there's some unusual behavior in my PayPal account. It's a text message. Click here to make it better. Well, that wasn't from PayPal. They pretend to be from PayPal because they know a lot of people have a PayPal account. It's like, okay, they'll just send this out. Somebody clicks on that link, starts giving them information, thinking they're talking to PayPal, and now they can hack your account. So when you're a big, widely used company, you get exploited that way by people trying to pretend to be that. So that's why I've heard people say, I don't like PayPal. They get hacked a lot. Well, not really. They don't get hacked a lot. You got hacked. You weren't careful and you gave away your information and somebody hacked you. So just be careful with that, not just with PayPal, but anybody. I mean, it's some of those phishing emails and text messages are really clever. Some are real obvious, some are really clever, and you got to be careful that you're not clicking in there and trying to rescue your account because it's likely not true. But they're trying to get your login and your password so they can go in and take over.
I love PayPal.
Yeah, you like it? Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Send money to people out of the country, and I feel safe. I recently ordered. Matter of fact, Saturday I ordered this art supply thing from somebody I was unfamiliar with. Went through PayPal. Now I do get those solicitations, but I do ignore them. Yeah, I get solicitations from Apple and everybody. So, and they're all scams. So,
just gotta ignore those, right? That's right.
But I've had nothing but good luck with PayPal. They send you a receipt, and I haven't had any problems. Knock on wood. So, I'm gonna stick with them.
Yeah, and I've had Lily, I'll get you in a second. I've had tell this story. I fell for a running shoe website that they'd sent some marketing out through the email or something, and I thought, well, that's a really good price on those shoes because I knew how much they were supposed to be. So I ordered them, and when the receipt, it turned out to be a fake site. They took my money, but I used PayPal to buy it. So when I'm a little skeptical, I'll use my PayPal account to pay for something because I know I have some better recourse for recovery if things go bad. So the receipt I get back was not for a pair of shoes, but for a small girl's dress. That's what the invoice said for the amount that I had paid them. So I knew right away this was not right. So I appealed to PayPal that this vendor was not legit, and they got my money back. So the PayPal will go to bat for you if the people that are trying to get your money are not legit. Lily,
No, I was just wondering, does anyone have any experience with foreign currencies and PayPal? Someone told me that there are no exchange rate fees, but I was wondering, has anyone had any experience with that directly
I use
recently?
PayPal on a lot of foreign companies. I don't know. I mean, they just, well, actually, I did order something from England, and they converted it for me. It was quite expensive once they converted it, but I think that they was legit about it. And I got my what I ordered. I got it, and everybody was happy. So, but they did convert it themselves, and they let me know the conversion rate, and you could verify if that's the rate or not. So, I was pleased.
Right, the rate is the rate, but I was just a lot of places charge a transaction, a foreign exchange.
No, they didn't charge me that. They didn't charge me. It was just, I mean, I'm shocked that when I would lived overseas, the American dollar went much further than it does now. Now it's not going that far, so you can't do no more with it than you can in the States.
Yeah.
Right.
One of them things.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So PayPal has both a personal account and a business account. So you want to make sure you set up a business account for your business. It doesn't cost anything. It's just a designation, what it is. With that, PayPal they offered me a free debit card. So I have it's a MasterCard, a Visa, PayPal card that I can go and buy stuff from, and it pulls right in my PayPal account. So that's kind of neat. I also they've partnered with another company called Zettle recently, and I don't have it. I don't have it with me now, but it's in my other room. It's about the size of my phone, a little less than my phone, but it's a Bluetooth device that looks like it's got the key numbers on it, and I can use that to take credit card payment. So, you can put your card in it and take a payment, and it works wirelessly with my phone to take payments when I'm out and about. And it goes right into my PayPal account. So I can take a credit if I'm out and I'm taking
So these
credit
are
card
your payments that you're paying somebody. These are not people paying you by credit card.
No, the latter. They are. I'm taking money from other people.
Oh, you could actually take credit card payments on the go, you guys. That's not
Yes.
a bad deal.
Yeah.
The
They
pocket
gave
money,
that.
you think about it.
Yeah.
That's not a bad deal. Credit card payments.
Right. So I use that sometimes when I'm out, and I used to have the thing where you'd plug it into your phone and it was a little dongle thing hanging off and you had to swipe it in there. That's what PayPal used to have, but now they got this nice setup with Zettle that it's its own device. You charge it up, it's wireless, hooks up to your wirelessly to your phone, and you say how much you want it to be, and then you take their card and you got it.
I've been offered Zelle, but I thought it was the Zelle that you go to your bank.
This is different. This is Zettle, Zettle, Zettle.
Oh, Zettle. Okay.
Zettle, yeah. But if you go to PayPal, you'll see it on their site.
Okay.
Square is comparable to. They have their own version of all this too. And if you're going to have your own point of sale system, like in a store, Square is really good for that. You see that on a lot of the small retail stores that you go to, right? More and more they've got this iPad type thing where they say, okay, they flip it over to you and they say you got to do a few more things, or they can, give them a tip or sign your card right there. Square has all those kind of neat things for point of sale. All of their fees are comparable. Payroll, this is a piece of software. I don't have any employees, but some of the organizations I work with use this, and they're really good. Onpay.com, you can put your employees in there. You set what you pay them. Every pay period, you can determine how many hours they worked, or if they're on salary, you can put all their HR information in there. PTO, vacation time. It computes all of the payroll taxes for them, and spits out the information to your accounting so that your accounting is up to speed. And then OnPay automatically will cut the checks or directly deposit to them. So very affordable too. It's not much money at all. OnPay if you have employees. Obviously, social media, lots of options there. My advice more and more is don't try to be on everything. You probably don't need to be on everything. Find out which ones match what you're working on, which ones serve your business the best, and lean into those. Don't try to feel like you got to be on everything. If you think you're on it, if you're trying to be on everything, you're not going to be good on anything. Try to be good on something. Be consistent. All right, my bonuses. I'll wrap up with this. Evernote. You guys, I've taught classes on that, and Notion. These are great tools. I used Evernote for a lot of years and then switched over to Notion. LastPass, this is a password protection program. I don't care which one you use. I just hope you use one. Some people waste so much time tracking down, losing, forgetting, resetting passwords. It's just a waste of time. If you have a trusted password program, then it's much quicker, much easier to keep up with all that. Fantastical is a calendar program that only works on Macs, but it's a fantastic program. I love it. It works really good. Brings all my Google calendars together into one calendar, and I'm not having to search multiple calendars. It's all together in one place. I can create Zoom meetings right out of it. It's really good. Miro is a whiteboard program. It's I teach classes on that as well. It's fantastic for strategy planning, visualizing things. It's a very graphical, visual interface that allows you to do much. You can work alone or with other people. It's really good if you're the kind of person like, hey, I wish I had a whole big whiteboard in my office that I could just throw stuff up on and do. That's perfectly what it's good for. That's kind of what I do. Just dump stuff out there and move it around, and sometimes I'll grab that and put it back into something else. But that's what this is. And then text expander. Sometimes I started using this. I finally broke down and started using this when I was working with GetSetUp, because I was sending out class notes after class, and I would have this. Every class would have different notes that I want to put in there. And what Text Expander does is allows you to create a kind of a library of of text that you might use frequently. So if you have the same kind of email you want to send back to somebody every time they inquire about something, or you have a common response, or you have any body of text that you use repeatedly, you can create this. And then once you set this up and you create your text and you can format it how you want, you assign it some kind of a shortcut code. For example, this class might be Z Biz Tools. Maybe I called it Z Biz Tools. Now it's Z because typically I'm not going to type the word Z Biz Tools anywhere. So I create Z in front of what it is. So when I get to the place where I'm going to put the notes description and the notes for you guys after class, I just type Z Biz Tools, and Text Expander throws it all in there, and it's there. I don't have to type it all over again or go look for it and copy and paste it. That works really good. All right, everybody. Good to have you. Good to see you. Thanks for learning together. We'll see you in the next class. Take care. Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you so much.